Thank you for watching this YouTube video today. Today we are going to be going over Spell Totem. Spell Totem is a unique totem that's actually a support gem. It's this gem right here. The quality on Spell Totem only gives increased duration, which actually can be useful in some instances, but in most instances the increased duration's really, it's okay. Right now what I'm going to have on Spell Totems: Freezing Pulse and increased critical damage with the Spell Totem. It's not really going to do a lot of damage. My character's not spec'd for totems, but it'll give you an idea of what it's going to look like, how you can manage its effectiveness. I'm going to probably end up cutting this part out of the video, but I do want to get another piece of equipment that changes some other sockets around, so bear with me. I want boots. Boots that are linked together. This works. We'll just roll. Well, that's green though. Maybe we'll just use this chest piece. Hopefully I have enough armor. Probably don't have enough armor now, but that's fine. I'm just trying to make it so. Alright. So the way you scale all this up is you would want to, I'll show you what it looks like. So normally Freeze Pulse by itself just looks like this, right? You're casting it from your character and out. So that's what a normal Freeze Pulse looks like. What you're eventually going to want is, eventually you're gonna use a Spell Totem with the Freeze Pulse if you want to do a build like this. The Spell Totem, once you use it, now the Spell Totem casts the Freeze Pulse from where it's at. Well, that's still not enough increased effectiveness, right? So to increase the effectiveness even more, you can add a LMP, and now the Freeze Pulse shotguns the monsters because the damage can overlap. Keep in mind this is only a level 1 Freeze Pulse, so it's not really going to do crazy damage. But now every one of those pulses are doing 12 DPS. I mean, it's like 18 DPS because it's 6 times 3. And you have to keep in mind, I'm in Cruel right now, so this isn't really going to do any damage. The other way you scale it even more after that is you would want to use a GMP like Ice Spear. And you want to use this as you're casting your totems, because then the totem gets even more damage. The power charges add a lot of damage. If you have double totems, that's still fine because you don't need the Ice Spears to actually do any damage. You just need them there. You just use a level 1 Ice Spear, and it has enough crit chance that you're going to be able to sustain power charges. And the damage from that's going to increase your Spell Totem by a lot. Right now it's not, because, you know, it's not really a good example as far as the damage goes, but it gives you an idea of how you're going to scale most of your totem's damage. And it also gives you more of a little more active playstyle while you're playing, because it gives you power charges, and each power charge gives you 50% more crit chance. So that means the totem itself normally only has a 6% chance to crit, but once you have the 3, you know, you'd spec for power charges too on the tree. So for this particular build you'd want like power charges, you'd want cold damage, so you could grab cold damage anywhere you could find it. You would also grab, where is it? you would grab elemental damage is also okay. Really, cold damage and elemental damage, they're not as good for this build because of how Spell Totem works. One of the best ways to increase the effectiveness is just getting crit chance, crit damage. So that's why we're going to get you the power charges. You get crit chance, crit multiplier. There's crit multiplier over here that you could grab. Here's some crit chance. Here's some crit chance and crit damage. And then you would just self-cast that Ice Lance, giving you yourself power charges, and it would increase the damage of your totems by a lot. Spell Totem. This Spell Totem is just an example. Another thing that I would do with Freezing Pulse Spell Totem is get a added lightning and use static blows and chance to shock, and then using a quality added lightning. A quality added lightning gives the spell more chances to shock. So with just the added lightning and the static blows and stuff, you're gonna have a 30% chance to shock, and then on top of that, anytime you crit, so you're gonna be able to get that shock chance up super high, super fast, making it so they get shocked, and that's gonna be a huge increase for your damage as well. But that's just for this totem really in specific. You can do other totems too. There's all kinds of spells you can mix and match with Spell Totem. Another one that used to be very popular is Fork and Spark. I don't have the Fork with me right now, but basically you would do the kind of the same thing. You would have a Ice Lance that you not Ice Lance, Ice Spear that you can cast. Keep on calling it Ice Lance. You can cast Ice Spear and then put down your totems while you're doing this. You'd have extra crit chance, making it so it does more damage and stuff. And a quality Spark would also increase the effectiveness because Spark has projectile speed when it has quality, and it actually ends up being 60%, so it's 3% per quality. And then Fork's really good with it. You could also do crit damage and crit chance. I know Spark only has a 4% chance to crit, but it's still a way you could end up doing it. It's something to think about. You don't necessarily have to go crit chance. You could also try scaling it with lightning damage. You could scale it with other things too. So, elemental, lightning damage. You could get static blows, increasing your chances to shock. Spark really kind of isn't as good as it used to be. At one point it actually used to be a really strong way of doing it. Usually you want to go for spells though that have a good crit chance to begin with. So you could do Glacial Cascade too. Glacial Cascade has a 6% chance to crit. It does not get increased by like lesser multiple projectiles or anything like that. But then yeah, you just like any of them, you'd want to use Ice Lance, giving yourself more crit chance. The thing to keep in mind with not Ice Lance, Ice Spear, is every time that you're away from the monster, you want to be as far as you can. That's how you're going to get your crit chance the highest, and that's how you keep your power charges. So yeah, it's just something to keep in mind. And that's what's nice about Spell Totem, is you can just mix and match and basically come up with whatever you want as far as the spells go. Otherwise, I think that's all I really have to talk about with Spell Totem, other than the most popular. You could also use Spell Totem as like more of a support totem. Like you don't have to use it necessarily always for spells. Another popular one is Skeleton Totem. It just keeps pooping out skeletons, so it just basically makes a bunch of bodies for you, and it just keeps on doing it. So you don't have to even have like skeleton like nodes. You don't have to have minion nodes or anything like that, and it just makes a bunch of bodies for them to deal with. It's actually a really good totem because it just keeps them busy. I know they're not really caring about the skeletons at the moment, but as they do more damage and stuff, it would make them more effective. But yeah, otherwise, thank you for watching this YouTube video today, and you guys take it easy. And the next one I'm going to talk about is ranged attack totem and what you can do with that. Thank you for watching.